Hello Internet, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name's Tori and today I have a different video. I will be ranking all of the palettes I first used in 2019 or I got in 2019. So in 2019 I brought in 17 palettes, either I bought them or my mother bought them for me, and one palette was gifted from Valerie, so 18 palettes total. But today we will only be talking about 15. There's 3 of them that I still have yet to use. So we're gonna talk about the worst to the best, my favorite. So starting with the worst is the limecrime sugar plum pocket candy palette. This really disappoints me. I ranked this 1 out of 10 stars. I love Polly Pocket. I was very interested in all these palettes. I got it from a Marshalls or TJ Maxx. But this palette, we have some issues. So it started to reek. So then I depotted it, and then it stopped smelling completely, so then I put the shadows back in. Still smells normal, so I don't know why it smelled. Color seems not cohesive. This color and this color are like the main reasons I would get this palette, and they take work. It's just, I've had such a bad experience with this that, am I going to keep it, eventually panic? Yes, but I don't want to touch it right now. Like, want it in a drawer and I'm gonna hide it for 6 months and then finally be like, okay, I'm gonna use it. But yeah, this is not a standalone palette, so I just will have to reach in for the most likely this shimmer or that shimmer, and then finally eventually probably I'll end up decluttering these 2 later on in the year. But yeah, this is the worst palette for me. Next I have the Limecrime plushies in Sweet Blends. So my issue with this palette is I love the color story, it's cute, and I know that this is supposed to be like the soft buildable formula, but like the pigment's not there, so how are you supposed to build on it if the pigment's not there? This I just give 5 out of 10 stars because it's okay, but I really have to build it up and dig at it to get what I want. Yeah, I do like the color story, but it's not, like, it didn't give me a hard time like the other Limecrime palette. Next one is another Limecrime palette. I don't hate Limecrime. It's just various reasons. So this is the Venus 3. I rank this 6 out of 10. And this is what the color story looks like. Adorable color story. Here's my issue with the palette. It's Heavenly and Beam. Paradise also is patchy, is not a cute purple like it would seem, which is annoying and takes so much effort to try to do. I love shades like that to put in my outer corner. Takes forever to try to do that, which is a pain in the ass. But the shimmers are my main issue with the palette. That's just an additional thing I shouldn't have to deal with that in 2019. But the shimmers, it takes so many different tries and like me trying so many different ways to get this to work on me. It pisses me off. That's why Heavenly, I ended up scraping off stuff. I foiled it and then it gets hard pan, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just use my finger even though I don't want to, and then it still gets hard pan. And then I try different brushes and it's just a pain. Pretty shimmers, I would love to use them, but they take so much work that it wrecks the whole palette for me. So I'll probably, now that I've scraped up Heavenly, it's a little bit better, but like, there's so many makeup nowadays, I shouldn't have to work that hard. And that's the truth. But the other mattes and the other 2 shimmers I do really like. So at least that's the plus side of this. Next is the other Limecrime's plushies. My rabbit took the corners off of these. But yeah, this is the freshly squeezed. I rate this 6 out of 10. And my only issue with these is dragon fruit is pretty much the main reason I got this palette. I got it from a TJ Maxx or Marshalls, can't remember which one. So I did get it cheap, considering these are like $22. Ridiculous. This and jackfruit, pigment's not there. It takes so long to build it up. I know it's supposed to be a nice blendable formula, but if it's taking so long to build up because the pigment's not there. Kind of a pain in the ass. But orange juice and mango, pigment's there and they are gorgeous. So it's like 50-50. And plus, this was my first orange and this was my first yellow, so a little sentimental, hence why it's not a 5, it's a 6. Next, the Jeffree Star Thirsty palette. I got this as a Christmas gift last year. This was the palette I got for Christmas. I rate this a 6.5 out of 10. My main issue with this palette is this shade, Divine. Lick also has the same problem, but this is so much worse. First shade I gravitated towards, because I didn't have anything like it, I went and I foiled it, because when I just took it with a plain brush, the pigment wasn't there. So I'm like, okay, I'll foil it, give it a shot. And then it got hard pan, and the hard pan has never gone away. The reason it has a dent was because last night I used it with my fingers, and it finally gave me pigment, but I had nothing else on. I just had that, and that was it. And I tried to use it as like a topper mixer on top of like another shadow, and this shade is really wrecking this whole palette for me, because I love this first row. Warm tones I actually like. This is more peachy coral, didn't have before. Well, actually I still don't have it. These are the only two I have. And I really like that. But Divine wrecks it, and then Lick has a similar problem, but since I didn't use it or try to use it a lot like Divine, it's still okay. I can use my finger, and now I can foil it, which I don't understand, because Filthy Rich, Snatched, and Plunge are all fine without being foiled. They're fine with just a normal brush. So, inconsistent. And then the other thing about this palette is Drizzle and Subtle. I kind of wish they weren't there. I feel like these two distract me so much that they just don't match the color scheme of like the warm. I get that like this, and that would go good together, but it's just, to me, the package is orange. I want all warm tones. I do like the pops of color. These were like my first good matte yellows and teals and blues, and I have no problem with them. I actually really like them a lot. But yeah, for some reason, these two browns rub me wrong, and then this one does me so dirty, and then this one does me a little dirty. So that's why it's a 6.5. That's why it could not qualify for a 7 for me. Next is the palette I actually have on my eyes today. This is the ColourPop Just My Luck palette. This is a newer palette to my collection, but I don't know if the star rating is going to change. This is also a 6.5 out of 10. This is what the palette looks like. So, I got this palette pretty much because I don't have a lot of greens. So I was like, you know what, we're just going to get it, we're going to try it. Whatever, I got a good deal. Immediately I'm drawn to All of You and Charmed. They work amazing. I love them. Charm, you don't need to foil, you don't need to use your fingers, you can just use a brush. Amazing, what I want. Chances are, it's not that pigmented. Which, if it's not that pigmented on pasty little me, that's not a good thing. Kiss My Arse is amazing. I love it. Does have a lot of kickback, which is kind of annoying, but I love it. That's what I have right here because another shade wasn't really giving me what I wanted. Mary Jane was the first shade I used. It has a weird texture because I couldn't use it with a normal brush. I had to foil it. Pain in the ass. So I don't hate it, but it's a pain. I'm trying to think. So 50/50 and Big Bang have the same situation where they're going to have to be foiled. Since I know I'm going to have to foil them, it's okay, I guess. It's annoying, an additional step, but whatever, I'll suck it up. Act Natural is okay, but the pigment's not completely there. You do have to take a while to blend it. That's originally what I had in here today, but then it felt like it just wasn't. I didn't want to build it up again, so then I just went with this shade because I knew how it worked. Mobamba has glitter in it, but you don't really need it. You can't really see it. I don't get why there's really glitter there. Yeah, I don't get why there's glitter there. I have not worn this one on my eyes yet. This is the only one I haven't worn on my eyes yet. Maybe my theory on this would change. But the other thing is, I wish they took this out and made it like a lighter shade of these tones to follow the trend. I think that would have been better than throwing in 50-50. So that's my gripe with this palette. But yeah, I still would recommend this. It's not expensive. And for me, for having first greens, it's not bad at all. The next palette, I feel like anyone who doesn't normally watch me might give me crap for it, but it's the mini Controversy palette. I rate this palette a 7 out of 10. So, with this palette, I'm gonna flat out say it. Controversy sucks. This is the shade I'm most drawn to, and the pigment is not there. It takes forever to get the pigment, and then once I feel like I finally got it, it goes away because it's a pressed pigment. It's a pain. Exposed and Flat Earth are not that pigmented. That Root Beer and Cry on My Couch are fine. My Boyfriend's Purse, I don't really like that shade. The other thing with this palette is I feel like I can't make a cohesive blue look. I've tried to do with the Blue Moon palette and this. I tried to do a blue look with Blue Moon and then try to recreate the same thing with this. Couldn't do it. Because this shimmer is way too dark. It's fine, and actually the shimmer works amazing in the crease, which is a plus. But since it's so dark, I don't have a light blue, so then I went in with My Boyfriend's Purse and it did not look good. I have that up on my panning account. And then My Apology is perfect. I like these three a lot. The neutrals are neutrals. But yeah, I feel like I cannot use it alone, which is annoying. I still love these colors, but it's just they're not that pigmented. They're not what I would have expected, if that makes sense. 7 out of 10, so pretty much it's average in my collection. I like it. Don't hate it. It's okay. Next, I have the Makeup Forever Lustrous Eyeshadow Palette. I also rated this a 7 out of 10. I use this palette a lot in November because I had to do a show at school. And this was so easy to work with. I do wish there was like another shimmer because this pop of red sometimes doesn't have a lot to play with. I forget to use it. I do forget to use it. So that's why it's not higher, but it is 7 because it is good. Next is a palette I wanted for so long. I was so happy when I got it. And it's the Urban Decay Beach palette. I'm rating this a 7.5 out of 10. And the reason it's a 7.5 is there's only one matte. And that is Daybreak. I wish they made one of these blues a matte or added a different blue or something. Yeah, all these shimmers work like a typical Urban Decay shimmer. You don't really have to foil it, but you can if you want. There's no weird hard pan. But yeah, I do not reach for this a lot because there's only one matte. So it's not really a standalone. This is pretty much just a shimmer palette for me with one pretty matte. Next is the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson Conspiracy palette. So I rate this an 8 out of 10. And the reason it's only an 8 is because one shade really pisses me off because it's not like any other one of Jeffree's formula. And that is Trisha. This shimmer is so grainy. I've never experienced this before with his formula. It takes so much effort to try to do it. And I did, oh my god, I did such a cool look. I wish I took a picture of it, but I forgot. And I put this over the lid, and then before I was even done my makeup, it like wasn't even there. It disappeared. Plus, it also stains. And I know he has warnings that stuff stains, but typically stuff doesn't stain on me. I get lucky. But that pissed me off that it did because the pigment just disappears but leaves a stain. So yeah, that shade really rubs me the wrong way. And then the other shade that low-key pisses me off, but is fine, I guess, is Not a Fact. Like I said before, I love these type of shades. I love anything mauve, berry, pinky, dark goodness, plus purple. But this one's not pigmented. It's not there. I know Jeffree can make a pigmented blendable formula because that's exactly what the black is. The black is the perfect black I've ever used and makes me want to reach for black, which is like ironic because I never wear black eyeshadow. But this is just not there. But besides those two, I do like everything else. Diet Cola, so blinding. Oh my god. I was on FaceTime, put it in my inner corner. They could even see it with like the low quality lights I was using. Amazing. Food videos, very unique, very cool. Do have to build it up, but with a neon that cool, I won't care. I didn't really expect to like Conspiracy, but I do really like it. Spiraling was the shade that was breaking on a lot of people, but if it wasn't there, I wouldn't care. But it's okay, but I do like it as like adding a shimmer right in the, like, to blend. Do like it for that, but besides that, I probably wouldn't use it for anything else. Just a theory, so pretty. The rest of these mattes work fine. Ranch I do like using a lot as a inner corner highlight and brow bone, which is something I tend to forget to do, as today I don't have anything in my inner corner or brow bone. But when I use this palette, I remember to use it because I do like it. Illuminati is your basic blue-brown pigment. Don't really care much for it because I've panned one. Sleep Paralysis is so gorgeous. I really like it. And let's see, pigment works well. Cheese Dust, I've only used it once, but I do like it. And then Flaming Hot is a nice red. Yeah, so besides Trisha and Not a Fact, I love the color story of this palette. Even with them, I love how, besides, even if you take out the neutrals, it's like brights, but then it's grungy. It's something that, not completely cohesive, but it's cohesive enough where you actually can think and get different looks, and I do respect that. I really like that. So that is why Conspiracy is only an 8 out of 10, because those two shades really rub me dirty. Next is the ColourPop Zodiac palette. This I've also rated an 8 out of 10, and this is what it looks like. So right off the bat, I'm a Capricorn. I really hate that she made that the Capricorn shade. I know that we are not the nicest people in the world, and I know that we are one of the leaders of the Zodiac. Leos and Capricorns are like the two main leaders. But I know we're hard asses, but like for real, a black with shimmer, like, I literally never even touched that shade, to be honest. But, okay, so with this palette, it is really pretty. Pisces does rub me the wrong way because, as you can tell, it has like a weird thing because of a hard pan situation with foiling. And like, I don't even use that much setting spray when I foil something. I literally squirt it twice from far away. Whatever, shouldn't be hard pan there, but there is. So you do have to use that shade with your finger, which I don't really like doing. I don't like touching eyeshadow and then putting it on my lid. I don't got time for that. Let's see. Oh yeah, I don't get inspired from this. When I use this palette, I either go straight in for Aquarius and Pisces, and then I do a look with them too, or I go in with Scorpio and Sagittarius. But besides that, I can't make cohesive looks out of this palette. I know you can, and I know there's ways to do it, but me, when I look at this, I don't get inspiration to make cohesive looks with it. So that's why it's 8 out of 10, because personally, I can't make cohesive looks out of this, but I know it's possible, but my brain's just not drawn to anything. I wish Aries was a matte, because then I could use Leo more. Like, there's a lot of shades I don't use because I just don't, like, I'll use Gemini with Taurus and Virgo, but then it's like, where do I put Cancer? Like, where do I put Libra? So it's like, I just personally can't do it. So that's why it's only an 8. But I do really like it a lot. Next is the ColourPop Blue Moon palette. This I also gave 8 out of 10. And that's only because two shades rub me the wrong way. Clued In is a navy. I love navy eyeshadows. I don't know how this, not even a session started, but like how much I enjoy it started. This is the only shadow in this whole palette that is not that pigmented. Lumi, amazing white to purple shift. Dabadi is so pretty and pigmented. Same with Moonlight. Like, even though these are lighter, they have the pigment to pack the punch. That's Starry Eyed. Tide Pool's the first shimmer I used. So gorgeous. Mad About You, I used in the crease, and it does work. So this is a shimmer that you can use in the crease. I haven't done that with all these shimmers, but I did with this one, and I liked it. And then Fine China is so pretty. I do really like it. And then, you know, if you noticed, I didn't talk about Billie Jean. You can only use Billie Jean with the finger. You cannot use her just with the brush, and you cannot just foil her. you have to use your fingy, because otherwise it just washes away and the pigment's not fully there and it's not a nice look. But everything else besides those two in this palette is so perfect. If those two were just a little bit better, like this would have been like my favorite palette of this year. That's how much I like this palette, but it's just those two just wrecked it for the rest of them because I really like this palette so much. Next is another little guy, and this is the Too Faced Razzle Dazzle palette. I rated this a 9 out of 10. I love this color scheme so much. I got it for a good price because it was in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. This shade, I have to build it up a little bit, but it's like the pigment's there, so it's fine. It's perfect. You can use the shimmers with your brush, with the finger, foiled, like everything I want. But the only reason it's not higher is because it is not a standalone palette for me. It's not standalone. Because then I feel like I'm always getting the same look, and if it's like I just use those four, and then I need to pull in another purple to make sure that blends nicely into that, it's just not standalone. And that's something, like with panning, I wish I had, like I try to make cohesive eye looks now when I pan stuff, because I need that quick, I know that these work well together and I can do it in this order when I get ready for school in the morning. But yeah, besides that, this palette is so pretty and perfect and I love it, and the smell is great, but just the fact that it's not cohesive for me makes it a 9. Next is the ABH Rivera palette. I'm so happy I got this. No, it's just dirty. I thought I made it dirty, but nope, it was already dirty before. The reason this palette's a 9, and it's not any higher, is for one reason. Bahamas stains like a PIA. I bought this palette when I was in Florida, and I went right in with Bahamas and Monte Carlo and Palermo, and I didn't expect it to stain, but it did. But besides that, I really like this palette. Even though there's not another blue for these two, I'm okay with it because these blues, shimmer-wise, are so nice. Inheritance, didn't expect to like, but I love it. To be honest, Palm didn't really need to be there, but it's nice to have. I feel like this is, I know some people don't like this color story or how it is, but I really like it. With canes, you just gotta get creative with it. I feel like this is the only shade that I really need to pull another palette for besides like the blues. Seaside is really pretty. I did not expect to like it at first. And same with Yacht. I just thought, okay, Yacht's your basic bronze color, but I really like it. And then the rest of these shades all work fine. And then Monte Carlo is my perfect pink shade, like I said before. So really 9 out of 10, but if it didn't stain, it would be higher. So now my last palette, the palette that's on top, the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. I rated this a 9.8 out of 10. And the reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is really petty. So let's just talk about the positives before we get into the low-key pettiness. This palette, these shimmers are perfect. I can use them with a brush, with a finger, like any way, and they work, and that's what I need in the morning. I love this color scheme. Like, I said to my mother last night, I was like, I honestly wish this came out first, because then I would have never needed the Heat palette and the Naked 3 or the Naked Original. I would have just bought this and been done, because this is perfect for me. This is what I wish the Naked 3 was, but I'm not mad about it now because I have this palette. Some of the names, like Drunk Dial, okay. So the reason it is a 0.2 deficit from 10 is because I feel like Caution doesn't really need to be there. Caution doesn't really need to be there, and I wish Juicy had a little friend. Juicy I've paired with so many looks when creating this palette, but I just sometimes wish there was something a little special that was like another peach or something just to go with Juicy. I feel like if you just took out Caution, paired like a lighter peach or something with Juicy, and then it would have been perfect. Because I always feel like my eye gets drawn towards juicy, and then you have this weird tan over here, and then my eye's like, why is that there? You know? But everything else is gorgeous, so that's just my little pettiness with this palette. I really love this palette because it's the perfect color scheme for me. The formula is perfect. I don't have to do extra steps to work with it. I can just wear it, and that's what I need sometimes. So yeah, that was all the palettes I got in 2019, and that is my ranking of them. I will be doing another one of these next year because I really like watching these. I like people going through everything they got throughout the year and ranking it and seeing what's on top and why. Don't know if I'll keep the same star system next year. I just needed something to, like, I think 5 stars is too small because there is a big jump on purpose between sugar plum and then sweet blends. Like, this is just not that pigmented, but this was a whole bad experience. So I wanted that gap there on purpose so you guys would know that. And then most of my palettes are mid-tier. Most of my palettes are perfectly fine, but it's for when the palette's not worth the dinero that you really gotta know, you know what I mean? That's all my palettes this year. Hopefully I don't bring in that many palettes next year, but most of the palettes I did get on good deals, so it's like, okay, understandable. That was this video. If you enjoy project pan videos or you just enjoy my personality, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and all that jazz, and peace out, Girl Scout.